So what makes my video different from all those videos of how you get over your ex? I'm actually going through something right now. I'm going through it with you real time. Not 6 months later, not a year later. I'm going through it right fucking now. And it hurts so fucking bad. You beg, you cry, you promise that you'll make a change. And if you're wondering, no, I did not cheat. You go through all this. You wonder, not again, not fucking again. And you're sitting here and wondering if she truly loved me, she would come back, right? By the end of this, I'm gonna walk you through how I'm dealing with it, the steps that I'm taking, and the secret sauce to actually moving on. So let's be 100% real, raw, and authentically honest here. In all my other videos, I like to play this character of, hey, I'm a simp, I can't get no girls, I'm short, XYZ. But the truth is, bruh, is that I've always been in a relationship or dating since, I don't know, 21, 22, 23. And for the past recent years, I've always been in a 1 year, 1 month, couple of weeks, 2 years relationships. That's the veil being unlifted, which is a really good and bad thing. Because what I realize now is I never really had any time for me to reflect on myself because humans react and do things and the behaviors in patterns. Because if someone did something in the past, chances are they're going to do it in the present, and that's going to become their future, whether that's career, love, relationships, spiritual, whatever it is. For example, me. So to understand how you break these patterns is to be finally aware of what you're actually doing. So you jump into the next person, thing, career, fully aware that you are making decisions, not because what is familiar, but what is most healthy and most authentic to you yourself as a human. So step one is to actually understand and take full accountability of your own emotions, because it is going to be a way wavy ride of sadness, mourning, regret, and loss. Because a part of you actually died. A part of you that you created with them, your memories, what they like, all the little things of you taking care of them, is gone. And they are never, ever coming back. And that's a quote from her. So instead of you, for me, for example, trying to caretake and please and be like,
I'll make it better. I'll learn. I can, just take me back.
be able to sit with that pain and cry it out and feel your emotions. Because I know as a guy, there's a lot of things where it's like, hey, bro, move on, get over it. That's not going to help. No one's going to truly understand what you two had together. So you just need to sit and be sad. It's almost like you're having a little funeral for this relationship that y'all once had. And I don't know about you and this generation, but for me, I'm a serial dater. And I imagined something pretty serious with this girl. I imagined marriage one day, kids, creating a life together. And having that stripped away and going back to, I'm here by myself again, fucking hurts. And I'm not even gonna go on a front like the past week. A lot of tears. Randomly, just in the gym, I'm like, oh my God, my face. It's funny now to say, but like, man, as you're going through that week, it's just like, it's messing with your mind, It's just, you're not you. You're just incredibly grieving and sad. And you don't want to do anything, right? You don't even take care of yourself anymore, right? I was gaining weight. I was not eating properly. I did not even, do things that made me happy. So this is the feely stage, I like to say, right? Feel every sort of emotion. Don't let anybody shame you for feeling whatever it is that you want to feel. Feel all of that shit. Feel it. Embrace it. Because going through this pain, I'll talk about in the next step, is you need to take action. Step two is action. So, what you need to do is, unfortunately, delete every single photo and video, social media, cut contact. Trust me. I myself, as I'm going through this right now, as I'm going through this stage that I'm currently in, I find myself creeping. I find myself, I wonder what they're up to, right? How are they doing? Have they moved on? Are they dating someone else right now? Because in your head, oh, they're going to replace me real quick. How do you expect to move on if you constantly remind yourself of, hey, this failed. Hey, this person walked out of your life. Hey, why I am constantly trying to heal, I'm constantly looking at her at the same time. Do you think that's the most healthiest thing to do? Of course not. So slowly, as painful as it is, once you're ready, delete every single thing that reminds you of her or that person so you can move on. Stage 3 is lessons. Taking the only L's we take up in here is lessons, no losses, sort of. What can you learn about this entire situation that has happened to you? For me, as I'm going through this and I feel myself begging and pleading and feeling all this mourning and regret, it brought up a version of me that I thought was not who I am, but it's still within me. There's a part of me that is hurting. There's a part of me that I'm like, whoa, I have not felt like this in a long time. And then I relate that back, wait, a lot of all my relationships, I always felt like I had to prove my worth. I had to be like, hey, pick me. I'm cool. Like, don't pick the other guys, pick me. But if you have a pick me syndrome, how do you think that actually plays out in the relationship dynamic? Because I always went out the world of being like, hey, I'm not good enough. Hey, I'm insecure. But it actually, the lesson that I'm learning from this is that I should not have to prove my worth to anybody, especially if it's a future partner of mine. And it's a tough pill to swallow because growing up as an Asian immigrant kid, you always get conditional love. It's never unconditional. So you learn that, hey, I gotta always do something to have someone love me. Stage 4 is aloneness, returning to you. Because one of the easiest things, I'm not talking about, you date a person for just one day, 1 week. I'm talking about truly love a person. When you are bawling your eyes out because they're not in your life anymore, that's love. Call me out on it. You don't think, for me, if a person that left your life and you're like ice cold, did you really love that person? So you need to be alone. And trust me, you will learn it the hard way if you don't listen. You go on other dates, you distract yourself. There's a quote, the easiest way to get over someone is to get under someone else. No. Although you might temporarily numb that feeling, whether it's alcohol, substances, distractions, and working on your own self, before you go to bed and every day you wake up, you're with you. You are going to be alone. If you have not done stages 1 and 2 and felt your emotions and taken away the lessons from it, you're constantly going to be running away from yourself. The answer here is to be alone. Not necessarily isolate yourself, but to be alone and to run into the fucking darkness. That pain, that nasty pain that you feel of like not good enough, of like, how could you do that? What is wrong? What's wrong with me? Am I such a monster? Run into that. Run into that fucking darkness. Because that darkness, the more you run into it, you will find your answer. You will find that the more you run into this, there's actually a light at the end of it. I promise you. I fucking promise you. No matter how sad you feel, how betrayed, you need to run into that. because that will reveal every single answer that you have always been looking for in your life. And once you reach the light, we go into stage 5. That is rebirth. You need to essentially reinvent yourself because that version of you before in that relationship couldn't survive. So how do you grow? You become a lobster, right? A rock lobster. You break out of your shell and be the version that you know that you are and how great you are as a human being. I became a shell of myself, especially all these years. Why? Because I wasn't running to the darkness. I was avoiding the darkness. I was avoiding myself. And once you're able to essentially Aikido flip it, take this pain, flip it, use it towards your own productivity in your life and figure out how do I make me happy without any sort of external stimulus. Stage 5 rebirth is you realize this breakup, what you're going through right now, is one of the best things that could have happened to you because you will grow so much. You will sit there and be so fucking proud of yourself because although all these girls, called you a loser, you felt like a loser. You grew up like a loser. You felt like you weren't good enough. You'll finally pat yourself in the back and be like, damn, I always got me through all this. Because I know going through a breakup, especially as a guy, where you aren't really taught your emotions, you just go to the gym, man, and use that emotion, sure, man, use that. But that pain is still going to be there, right? So be able to feel and process everything. And as I'm going through another breakup in my life, I'm finally realizing that I needed this to happen because I couldn't be like this anymore. I could not let this keep happening in my life. And yeah, I wanted to make this video for all the guys especially, but if you're a girl, that as well, where going through a breakup can make you think really bad thoughts. And to be in a vulnerable position like that, to go and love someone and have that love taken away from you, whether it's your fault or their fault, ending a relationship is never easy. But you know what they say, it'll make you stronger. You're watching Broke the Habit. My name is BDH Peter. And I'll see y'all in the next one, guys.
Continuing to convince yourself that this must on some level have been the right person and that your right person is now with someone else. Now, I don't believe that. I believe that the right person can only be the right person when it's two people choosing each other. So part of the pain we hold on to is believing still that we had this jewel that's gone. Who's been to hell and back. I want Roy, who had to go, die, resurrect himself, and then come tell the rest of us how to do that. I want that Roy. That Roy's interesting to me. I want weathered, scarred Roy, who's been through shit, who has interesting things to say. That Roy is much more interesting to me. And we learn far more, far more. We become far stronger by what goes wrong in our lives than what goes right.